This video is going to take you through just a very basic explanation of exponents. Should just be a review before we get into our laws of exponents. So anytime you're talking about exponents, you should remember that you have a number. Let's say we have 3, and then it is raised to some power, let's say to the 4th. Okay? The 4 is going to be your exponent, and the 3 is what is called your base. Okay? And what this is telling you is that you're going to take your base, you're going to take the number 3, and you're going to multiply it by itself 4 times. So you're going to have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And then you could go through and solve that. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81. So 3 to the 4th power is 81. Okay? Let's say we had 7 to the 5th power. Okay? If you were to write this out as a string of multiplication, you would have 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. Notice it's repeated multiplication, and you're taking your base, which in this case was 7, and you're multiplying it out 5 times. Okay, and then you'll end up getting a really big number for this one. 16,807. So notice it is not 7 times 5. Okay, very different. That would be 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. And exponents make it repeated multiplication. So it's a very common mistake that's made with exponents. Now, if you have a power of 10, okay, so 10 to any power. So let's say we have 10 to the 3rd power. This only works with tens. Okay, your answer, your exponent tells you how many zeros altogether that you have. So since I have an exponent of 3, my answer is going to have 1, 2, 3 zeros. Keep in mind, this would be 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, if we had 10 to the 7th power, we would have 7 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll throw my commas in there. 10 million. Okay, so again, that only works with tens. Okay, so for instance, I looked this up, and they tell you, or they say that the diameter of our Milky Way galaxy, so the distance across it, is actually 10 to the 21st power. So if you had to write out what number that would be, write it all out, you would have a 1 and then 21 zeros. I don't even know what number that would be. Really big. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So that's the diameter of our Milky Way galaxy, and that's actually in meters. Okay? So just a fun little fact there for you. So using exponents, you're going to see these a lot talking about either really, 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 really big numbers or really, really small numbers. And we'll get into that when we start talking about scientific notation. Okay, now we're starting to get into more algebra type stuff. So if I said, I don't know, let's say we have r to the 4th power. How would you write that out as a string of multiplication? It's the exact same way you do with in the number. R times R, times R times R. It's as easy as that. Okay? if I wrote out and I said you have the problem A times B times B times B, and you had to write your answer using exponents, look at your A's. I have A times A. There's 2 of them, so that would be A to the 2nd power. And then the B's, I have B times B times B. There's 3 of them, so that would be B to the 3rd power. So A squared, B cubed. And that's it. Now, we're also going to start seeing some negatives in here, which you probably haven't seen with exponents before. Okay? 2 different ways you will see exponents. Negatives. So there's 2 ways you're going to see this. One, you will see your base is a negative number like this. It's in parentheses. Your exponent is outside. The other way you'll see it is no set of parentheses. Negative 2 to the 4th, like that, no parentheses. Totally separate things here. This first way, when it's in parentheses, what that's saying is you're actually going to take this number in parentheses and multiply that out 4 times. So negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Here, you're only taking the 2 to the 4th power, and then your negative will stay out in front. Okay? So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So when it's written this way without parentheses, your answer is going to be negative. Okay? And then the way it's listed up here, you have to figure out what it'll be. So watch this. I'm going to take 2 at a time. So negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. Remember, 2 negatives make a positive. I'm going to do the same thing right here. Negative 2 times negative 2 makes a positive 4. And positive 4 times positive 4 is a positive 16. But down here, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. But then we make it negative. Okay, so notice 2 different ways of the problem being set up, and we got 2 different answers. One's a positive 16, one's a negative 16. So you've really got to pay attention to each of those and know which way they're wanting you to set it up, and then you'll get your answer from there.